everybody, I'm Adrian, and behind me I got the Maserati Granturismo. Alrighty, let's do a cold start on this thing. So today I'm gonna be doing a 4-year ownership review on this car. So before I take it out on the road, I'll talk a little bit more about it. So I had been looking forward to making this video, and I wanted to get it out before I start working on my C7. If you've been following my videos, I am gonna wrap the entire car, and I'm gonna take my time with it. So it'll take me several days, and I'll make videos along the way. And in the meantime, I'll be driving the Granturismo, so I'll be daily driving this one for several days, and I'll make a couple more videos about it. So let me just talk a little bit more about this car. So it's a 2014 model. This car was in production from 2008 to 2019. So even though this car was in production since 2008 to this date, it's still such a beautiful looking car. I think a lot of manufacturers, they tend to overdo things with their cars, make really sharp angles, they add way too many fake vents or too much chrome or too much of one thing. But the proportions of this car are just right. It's not overly aggressive. So I like how this car has chrome, but it doesn't have too much chrome. It's just got just a little bit. This car has the carbon fiber package. So we got the carbon fiber in the front. We have carbon fiber in the mirrors, carbon fiber door handles, the little side skirt. And then we also have the carbon fiber, I guess you would call them like diffuser tips. And I like how everything matches with the car. The carbon fiber, its natural color, with the color of this car, Grigio Granito, with the black wheels. That's one of my favorite things about this car, is the specs of it. So it was very well spec'd. And I also really like this interior. There's different interiors for the Granturismos. Some have white seats, black, red interior, but I happen to like this leather color. It's called Cuoio, which in Italian it just means leather. Let's check out the interior before we move over to checking the engine. So I like the simplicity of this car. So we can see this car has beautiful door handles. We got one for electronic, the other one for mechanical. So if the electronic actuator ever quits working, then we still got our mechanical linkages. So just for example, let's check out the Corvette right here. It's all electronic. We don't even have door handles. And a lot of cars nowadays, they're just incorporating more technology, but I like the simplicity of it. The mechanical linkages, and we even the key is just, I like hearing the mechanicals as I turn on my ignition switch. Also, a lot of new cars nowadays, they're all digital, a lot of screens, but I like the timeless design of my analog gauges. We also have a clock here. So me being a big fan of watches, I really like that clock. We got all the buttons there. My favorite buttons, the sport mode, we can see we got a little bit of wear. So it wasn't like that 4 years ago. So this is the button that I used. This other ones I don't even touch. Let's check out the back. So we got back seats on this car. It's a 4-seater. And the cool thing about this car is that they're actually usable and they're comfortable. So there's a lot of cars that will have back seats, but they're completely useless. So I'll just sit back here So I'm a little bit on the tall side because I'm about 6'1", but I got enough room to fit in here. Let's check out the engine bay. So I took off the covers so we can get a good look of everything we got underneath the car, because the covers cover everything up. This is a 4.7 liter V8, naturally aspirated, that was built by Ferrari, and it's just the last of its kind. Nowadays, everything with the way emissions and all the regulations are going, naturally aspirated engines are a dying breed. Nowadays, all the Maseratis are all turbocharged, and in my opinion, a naturally aspirated engine just has the best sound. And all my vehicles are naturally aspirated V8s. My Corvette is naturally aspirated. My pickup truck over there got a naturally aspirated V8. And I'm also getting a CO6, and that's what made me want to buy that car. So I got a deposit on it because it's going to be a naturally aspirated V8. So I'm a huge fan of naturally aspirated engines. Also, being naturally aspirated adds to the simplicity of it, because I used to be a mechanic, and over time the twin turbos, they just cost more to maintain a car like that. We have way more components that have to be taken into consideration. Speaking of simplicity, we have a power steering reservoir, because a lot of new cars nowadays are switching over to electronic steering. Like my Corvette over there has electronic steering, but I like the feel of the power steering pump. I feel more of a connection when driving. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you happen to have both vehicles, one with it and one without it, you would understand what I'm talking about. But I just feel more of a connection with a vehicle that has a power steering pump versus electronic steering. So there's a lot of components that seem like it would be easy to maintain. We got our spark plugs right there. We have our fuel rail with a test port. This car is multi-port fuel injection, and I happen to like that as well in reliability perspective, because a lot of vehicles nowadays have direct fuel injection. Beautiful sound that this car makes. It just doesn't get old. Hearing the sound, in my opinion, a beautiful sound adds to the driving emotion. So this is a 2014, but it still feels like a great car. The craftsmanship is there. I don't hear rattles, squeaks. It doesn't feel like it's falling apart. It still rides like a brand new car. The suspension is stiff. So yeah, no issues to talk about on the car. I'll be making a couple more videos about this car, since I'll be daily driving it for the next couple days. So I'll get to make some more content about it, because I'll be wrapping my C7, as I said in the beginning, and I'll be taking my time with that. So I think it'll be good. Get to drive this car for a while, since mostly this is like a weekend car, or I don't really drive it too often. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more content.